Okay, so I'm going to be face mapping myself, making sure that I can sort of separate the different parts of my face, but in order to do so, I will be looking to the side. So I'm going to be separating it down in different quadrants. This is going to be quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4, quadrant 5, quadrant 6, quadrant 7, and quadrant 8. Now, in this first quadrant here, we can see that there is a blemish here, a couple blemishes there. This could be mostly due to a lack of water or perhaps an oily substance. Now, if for example I end up not properly washing my hair or skipping showers, perhaps oily substances could start to run down, but considering how I have been properly washing my hair as of late, I would imagine that it's mostly due to dehydration. Now, if we end up going over here and we quickly examine this area, we notice that there's a couple more specks here as well, and a little more over here too. So in this area, there's also quite a couple of blemishes. Now, very fine blemishes, but blemishes nonetheless. Now, this could be resolved with a little more hydration, a little more water in my system. Now, if we go here in this little center piece between quadrant 1 and quadrant 2, almost in quadrant 5, we notice that there is quite a lot of little blemishes here, tiny little blemishes, and also here a little bigger, and a little one right here too. Now, this could also be due to hormones, or it could be due to a lack of hydration. Once again, either or really. It's a dicey game at times, but hydration never hurts anyone. Just drink a little bit more water. So I just need to drink a little bit more water. Now, if we go down to my nose, there really isn't all that many blemishes. There might be a couple very fine, minuscule blackheads, but nothing to report greatly. Blackheads tend to be a consequence of oiliness, so I have been trying to wash my face properly, although not overwash because that'll also cause oiliness, but a decent sort of routine wash. A light wash is in order, not exfoliation, because exfoliation will end up irritating the skin and causing oiliness. Instead, I use a nice, quite liquid-based face wash where it doesn't have any of those textured sort of rocks or bumps in it, because those could cause little micro tears into the skin, which then oiliness and grease could end up going into and creating pustules. So instead, I use a much more softer face wash to just wash the impurities or any overlaying grease or sweat or dead skin, dry skin from my face in order to remove them from my visage, keep the area clean while not also tearing it up, and I lightly press it through so that way it just removes the dirt and grime as opposed to sort of burning through my already healthy living pre-existing skin. Now if you look at this little corner right here, there really isn't anything to report. There is a little bit of bumpiness, but once again that bumpiness can be resolved with a little bit more of hydration. Now my pores are a little bit bigger, they're quite evident. They could be a little smaller, but either way I look absolutely stunning. So I just need a little bit of hydration to close those pores if I decide that I want to close those pores. And there's also a little bit of discoloration, a little bit of bumps here as well, some blemishes as well. But once again, this could also be resolved with a little bit of water. And not only that, but this also could be a oily or greasy area, a T-zone if you will. So this could be a little bit of an oily area for me. Now, washing my face definitely does do wonders in order to make sure that there isn't any sort of grime or any layer of skin on top of my skin, but perhaps just drinking a little more water and taking care of my diet to make sure I'm not adding too much salt or sugar into my diet, or processed foods into my diet would greatly help. The same probably applies. Yes, it's a little less discolored, I would imagine. No, it's roughly the same. It's pretty much the same as zone or quadrant 3 practically. Basically, it's a little bit red. It has some blemishes to them. It has my pores and whatnot, but just a little bit of washing. And also if you go down here, there's also probably a couple more blemishes here, a couple more bumps here as well, a couple more bumps. But as you can notice, there's a couple of finer hairs here and finer hairs here, and oftentimes if you have hair wherever hair is growing, there might be a couple of blemishes that come along with it, whether it be from ingrown hair or the sebum that ends up accumulating from the hair. Completely natural, nothing to worry about, nothing to be concerned about. Absolutely wonderful, absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful, but it's just something that naturally occurs. So if you'd like to reduce any sort of sight, just properly wash your face, take care of your diet, and drink more water, as I will do. So if I end up going to quadrant 5 right now, I will notice that there is one little bump right there, one little bump right there, just a little bump right there. Now this really is a hormonal area. If you end up having your menses coming up, then this will obviously start to sort of blister, if you will, or start to create a lot of impurities or blemishes. Now, it is completely natural to get a little bit of acne around the mouth around your time of the month, but it is nothing to be concerned about. It is not a matter of cleanliness. It is a matter of hormonal changes. Now, if you like, and if it is persistent, you can always try to be careful as to what food accumulates or what oils accumulate at the corners of your mouth or around your mouth. And furthermore, you could also start to wash your face. And if you use any sort of chapstick or Vaseline to moisturize your lips, just to kind of remain it within the lip area as opposed to letting it sort of drench down or around your lips, right? Perfect. Now we're going to go to quadrant 6 right here. So in quadrant 6, you can notice in my temple area there's a couple of blemishes here. It is due to dehydration. So because of this dehydration, I now have more blemishes coming out. Now what causes dehydration? Smoking causes dehydration. Drinking alcohol causes dehydration. And by smoking, I do mean both cigarettes and herbal substances. So drinking water and perhaps cutting down or eliminating those habits will indeed help your skin and improve it with its hydration levels, and also improve it with the smoke quality, because if you smoke, the layer will end up overlapping your face. So if afterwards you decide to wash your face, great, but if you don't, then that layer of smoke will end up covering your face or coating your face, leading to pustules, leading to grease, leading to accumulation of dead skin or dry skin, and to a general feeling of nastiness on your skin. Am I right? Correct. So I have to start drinking a little more water and taking care of my diet to make sure I'm not eating processed foods, to make sure I'm not smoking anything herbal, and I'm going to just take care of that. Now if we go to this other side, I notice that there's less, this is not a blemish, this is a dye. So I'm just going to examine this area, but I notice that there are less blemishes than there are on this side. Perchance, in fact, this could be evidence to me needing to change my pillow sheets, because if you don't change your pillow sheets, or rather if you don't use the good quality of pillow sheets, it starts to collect dead skin. It starts to collect the oil and grease from your hair, from your face, and if you end up sleeping with a partner, their hair and their grease can also slide onto your pillow, and if you end up dropping your pillow on the floor, it could collect the dust from the floor. So it's best to just change the pillow covers probably every week or every 2 weeks, depending on who you sleep with, depending on your cleanliness habits, and depending on your personal preference. So, and also it is also preferable to sleep on silk pillow sheets as opposed to the cotton ones, because they tend to be a lot gentler on the skin. They end up protecting the skin a little more from aging, while cotton fabric can sometimes make the skin a little more irritated and feels a little rough to the texture. Silk will end up feeling a lot more smooth and a lot more gentle to the face and to the skin texture, so it'll end up helping and soothing, and even to a certain degree sort of keeping the hydration maintained. Now if we go down to, I believe we've covered all areas. Quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Correct. So, if you notice, the idea behind my face is basically hydrate more, take care of my diet, take care of processed foods, make sure I don't eat processed foods, make sure I eat more fruits, veggies, and nuts, and drink more water. And obviously, if I decide to drink or smoke any herbal substances, or just eat any herbal substances, because eating herbal substances will also make you feel like a cotton mouth. It'll also dry out your skin. So either or, just to make sure that I am taking care of the hydration levels on my face, and making sure that I'm taking care of the dehydration that I might be causing my body through my diet or through my water intake. So I think that's a good examination, and I think that wraps things up.